In this video, we're going to look at some quick examples of how to calculate basic statistics in Excel. The first thing to think about is how we present our data within Excel. As you can see in this example I've got here, the standard way is to present our data in column form. So I have three columns here with the titles at the top. So label, age, and test score. So label here we have, it looks like 20 people, and we've just labeled them as A to T. And their age, and then their score in a test. I'm guessing this test is out of 20, because our maximum score here is 19. So this is a standard way to lay out data within Excel, is in column format. So that's the numbers going downwards, and the header for each set of data at the top. Then there's a few different ways we can actually calculate statistics within Excel. In this video, to start off with, we're going to look at using what's called the Data Analysis Toolpak. So to do that, first of all, you have to click Data at the top, in the top menu bar. Click Data, and then as you hear, there's a box that says Data Analysis. I clicked that, and there's a load of different tools for data analysis. Now, if when you click Data, you don't see the Data Analysis button, you will have to add that. Now, to add data analysis, you have to go to File and Options at the bottom here, and then Add-ins, and then at the bottom Manage Excel Add-ins. Hit Go, and there's a few different add-ins we can add, and you can see I have Analysis Toolpak ticked. So you need to make sure Analysis Toolpak is ticked, and then you can click OK. If Analysis Toolpak is ticked, then when you go to Data and click Data Analysis, you should get a bunch of different data analysis methods. In this video, we're just going to look at the simplest, which is descriptive statistics. You can see it's got selected here. This will let us calculate means, ranges, medians, things like that. So sort of like standard, simple like summary statistics. You can see there's lots of other statistical tests here, including regressions, t-tests, correlation covariance, ANOVA, etc. So there's a bunch of different statistical methods available within Excel. But to start off with, we're just going to look at the simplest, which is descriptive statistics. So I click descriptive statistics and then OK. And there's a few different options we have to select here. So the first one is input range. So that means we have to tell Excel where our data is. So we click the arrow next to input range. This lets us sort of choose the range for our data. So in this case, I'm interested in the age and the test score. So I'm going to highlight this data, including the headers. You see, it's got a box around it because I've selected it. I've sort of dragged and clicked to select the data. And you'll see here it says B1 to C21 in this box, and that corresponds to the sort of range of the data. You see the top left corner is cell B1 and the bottom right corner is cell C21. So that does make sense. And then once I've selected the data, I'll click this right hand button on the box, and then we have to select grouped by either columns or rows. Well, my data is in column format, so I've selected columns. I've got labels in the first row, so they're the words age and test score. So I'm going to have that labels in first row box ticked. Now the next options are the output options. There's a few different options here. One is to output the data to a new workbook. At the moment, I'm just going to output my data on the same sheet. So again, if I click this arrow next to output range, and I just have to select a cell where I want the data to be put, the output to be put. Now actually there's quite a lot of different outputs here, so I want a cell with lots of space around it, so I'm just going to select this one, G5, and then again I'll click the button to the right. My output range will be G5, and then I have to decide what I'm going to output. There's a few different options here. The one we want is the summary statistics. That's just the simple ones, and it will give the mean and things like that. So once I've selected my parameters, I'll just click OK, and you can see it's output a bunch of parameters. Now it's all a bit messy because some of these words and numbers are too long for the columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the columns and sort of drag and widen, change the width of the columns. Okay. in fact, if I select the columns and then double click on the top, it'll actually drag it to the, change the column width to the exact correct column width. So I'll do that. Oh. There we go. If you double click on the sort of edge of the column, it selects the exact width. Okay, so we can see here we have some statistics. We have two sets of statistics. We have on the left hand side these statistics related to the age data, and on the right hand side these statistics related to the test score data. We have the mean, for example, the mean age, so the average age was 45.1. That seems pretty reasonable looking at the ages. The mean test score was 11.85. Again, that seems pretty reasonable just looking at our test scores. The median age was 48. So that means there were more people who were aged. Sorry, no, 48 was the median. So that's median, remember, is the middle value. So if you put all 20 people in age order and then took the middle, well, the middle of the 20 will be between the 10th and the 11th person. So the average of the 10th and 11th value would be 48. The mode age was 52. That means presumably there's more than one 52. If you can see, there's a 52 there. There's 3 people who are 52. So mode, remember, means the most common value. So we can see that seems to make sense. Standard deviation is 19.25. That's a measure of sort of how spread out the data is. Same with the variance. The variance here is 370. Again, that's a measure of how spread out the data is. That's basically the standard deviation squared. There's a few more things that we don't need to really consider here. The minimum value is 20. The minimum age was 20, and the maximum value is 79. So the maximum age is 79. And then the range is the minimum, is the maximum minus the minimum. So 79 minus 20 is indeed 59. Okay, and sum is just if we add all the ages together, that's 902, and the count is 20 because there are 20 people. And obviously if you do the sum divided by the count, so the sum of all the values divided by how many they are, 902 divided by 20, you get the mean, which is 45.1. So that's our age data. We can do something, so we can think similarly about the test score. We have the same idea. Here we have the most common test score was 14, the mode, because it looks like 1, 2, 3 people got 14 was the most common. The highest test score was 19, the lowest was 4, so that means the range is 15, maximum minus minimum. Again, because we have 20 data points, this count is going to be 20 then. So that is using the Analysis Toolpak to create some summary statistics. It's pretty straightforward. The issue with it is it's all done for you, which is great. It's very quick and easy, but you don't necessarily really have to understand what's going on. You just click a button and Excel does all the work for you, and the output is in this sort of like very specific manner. So in a later video, what we will look at is using what's called Excel formulae in order to recreate these exact numbers in a more flexible manner.